Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Tanya, and if you're stopping by for the first time, welcome. I do hope you'll consider subscribing, and if you're not stopping by for the first time, and a wonderful welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. Today's video, I'm intending it to be a review of this. Now, if you're seeing this for the first time and you're seeing me for the first time, you're probably thinking, oh, she's got a Speedy Soft. No, well, kind of. Yes and no. I do, but this is a version that I made myself. So my intention was to actually source and find and buy a Speedy 30. This is a vintage Speedy 30. It is approximately 28 years old. And I searched for a little while, I have to admit. I searched for a little while, and I just thought, I love the Speedy 30 Soft so much that I wanted to make my own version. I had seen a couple of content creators on TikTok who had done this. So I watched and I watched and I watched and I learned and I took notes, and then I decided to do it. I looked on various platforms, especially eBay, and especially the Japanese eBay. It's funny, right? Because on places like TikTok now, there are all these young people who are going on and on about the Japanese eBay. Oh my God, it's so wonderful. You got to go there. You got to this and that and the other. And I'm thinking to myself, the Japanese sellers have been on eBay for many, many years. But you know what it's like? Millennials or Gen Z find something and then they just turn it into the next new best thing. But anyway, whatever. I did look on eBay, and I did, of course, access the Japanese sellers as my first port of call. But a lot of the prices that they were asking, because they know now that the Speedy 30 is in demand again, thanks to Pharrell Williams and all the rest of it, the prices are being jacked up incredibly. So I kept looking, and basically I got to the point where I actually found one here locally in Australia, and this this seller sold it to me. We're both in the same Facebook group, and I saw that she had listed it a little while ago, and I just watched it, and long story short, I bought it from her, so I didn't have to pay any additional tax. And then, of course, when I received it, it was in excellent condition. So I ended up creating and uploading like a series of me working on this in a number of parts, because it actually did take me longer than I had anticipated. Here I am naively thinking that I could do everything in like 2 videos. And I suppose if I had jumped a lot of steps, I probably could have condensed everything into 2 videos. But basically, I wanted to keep it as authentic to the timeliness as possible. So anyway, my intention was to buy one, and I can't remember if I've told you, this is a 28-year-old bag in excellent condition. The only concern was that inside the inner pocket there, that sort of, it's like that PU lining was peeling. And in all honesty, you know what? I should just pull it all off. I just haven't until now. I don't know why, but I think I'm just going to, because every now and then when I pop my hand in and out, a bit comes out. So then what I did was I turned it inside out. I cleaned all the inside. I cleaned the outside. I showed you the products that I used. I cleaned the vaqueta. The vaqueta is not cracked. It's in excellent condition. It is dark, but it is a nearly 30-year-old bag. But having said that, it's got this beautiful golden patina. The leather, the vaqueta, is very moisturized. It's well looked after. You know, since I've used it and been wearing it, sometimes my rings will give like a subtle surface scratch, but then with my thumb or something, I just like buff it out a little bit. I'm not too worried about it because it's already an old bag. And then basically what I did was I essentially put holes into it. So I put one hole here and one there, and I'll link the series below in the description box if you're interested and haven't seen it. And basically I centered it. So I bought these particular D-ring hooks from, where did I get them from? I think I got them off Amazon. I did buy this particular vaqueta strap, and this is leather. And this red clochette, I did buy that also from AliExpress, and there's a seller on AliExpress which, for people who are into restoring and so on, and adding straps and adding bits to their bags, you might be familiar with the name. They're called Havre Deluxe, based in China, but anyway, I think they operate through AliExpress. Took a while for the stuff to come, but in the end it all came. So I chose it because I know that, you know, this is not an actual LV clochette. It's just emulating it. Because if you buy the actual new version of the Speedy Soft, you will get, of course, this particular strap. You will get the red leather clochette. You will get the lovely large blue and white luggage tag with all the travel things on it. And then it also comes with a gold charm that hangs off it, which I think is of the Louis Vuitton building. So I didn't have those things, and I was not going to buy, like, you know, FAKES of that. So certainly this has got no markings on it. It's just plain, but it does look like the clochette. And then I just added this charm here. It's just a no-name brand charm. It's got a gold tassel. It's got these black and cream doobie whackers on it. I added my own Louis Vuitton authentic luggage tag. And then this is my chain strap from another bag. And then I added this sort of pinkish, and look, the colors probably clash a bit, but whatever. Like, when it's a beautiful sort of happy mess like that, it doesn't matter. And this is like a Rodeo-esque charm that was sent to me by Babylon Leather. And in my previous video, you will see that they sent me a bag. I received a bag from them, and this was sort of also in the package with the bag. So that's how I've decorated it. I've attached the hooks here, the D-rings. I've attached the strap, and I have been wearing this non-stop, I think, for the past 4 weeks? I think it's a good week, a good month now, good month. So for this past month, what are some of my points? What have I noticed? What do I like? What do I not like? Basically, I love the fact that it is big enough to hold anything. It's a Speedy 30. Now, 30 means a 30 centimeters across here. But if you compare this with, say, a Speedy 25, the difference is not only the width across this way, it's also the height and naturally the depth. This is a Mary Poppins bag, and everyone who's ever reviewed a Speedy 30 has always said that. The opening is fantastic. It's nice and large. It's easy to get into. Whilst mine does not have the beautiful red lambskin lining inside, mine is just the brown canvas. That also helps to keep it light. But as soon as you add things, and I've added either many things like drink bottles and other extra things like that, or I've kept it pretty basic, and I have 4 items in there. That's all I have in there. I don't bother with an organizer because that defeats the purpose of the Speedy Soft. Now, traditionally, I never used to love this sort of like sagging, like, you know, a baby's nappy that needs to be changed look. I've never liked that before in the past, but now I do. That particular look just has a different appeal. And so I have been using this daily. Now, because of the size, at work I have like a small set of drawers, you know, like with a little drawer on top and then like a filing cabinet drawer underneath. And I usually pop my bag in that, but I also have folders and books and so on in that particular drawer. So usually when I carry one of my smaller bags, I can just slip the bag into that. But this one I can't. So what I've been doing, and luckily we have carpet at work, but what I've been doing is I've just been popping this on the floor at work beside my desk, sort of tucked away a little bit under the desk. And the way my desk is positioned is that it backs onto other desks, but there is a partition between, so it goes all the way to the floor. And it just sits in the corner right beside my filing cabinet little drawer thing and that little wall. So it's great. I love it. I don't have a problem with putting it on the floor or anything like that. I've popped it on the floor of the car when my daughter has been driving and I've been in the passenger seat, obviously guiding her. I've put it on the back of a chair. I've hung it on a hook that I have in my car when it's just me in there, so that, you know, it just hangs on a hook rather than sits on the car seat. And all in all, I have had no problems with it. What I have found myself doing every now and then is I just feel this, because I don't want that little screw, which is on the inside here, to come loose. So every now and then I get out the little screwdriver and I just give it a little tighten. It hasn't actually seemed loose yet, but what I do is I just sort of give it a feel. And if it seems just a little bit, and not from here, so when I check it, I don't just do it from there, because this part of course moves. I check it, like I grip that and I feel it. And until now, so far, it's been fine. It hasn't really given me any issues. It doesn't seem loose. It's actually still quite firm. I was worried, I must admit, I was worried that it was perhaps going to loosen up and then come off and I'd lose it and all the rest of it. But so far, I haven't, and so far it's holding on well. So would I recommend this? Would I recommend buying it, the actual one that's in store, in boutique, or doing something like I did? Yes, 100% yes, absolutely. Especially if you're okay with this sort of lived in, slouchy, sort of, I don't care, I'm going to use what I've got vibe and look. You know, occasionally I've done the thing where I've tucked my hand through just for effect and I've carried it like that. But obviously when I haven't gone too far or in a place that I feel that I can, and I've just done that and I like it. It feels good in a way, but then sometimes it can feel a bit sweaty against your hand, especially here because it's currently summer. But anyway, I've enjoyed it. I've liked it. I don't regret putting holes into it because it's good. I'm using this more now than if I had not put holes into it. And I know that a few people, because I was having that question, I was having that dilemma while I was doing the restoration or the conversion. Should I, shouldn't I? Like, should I just keep it as a Speedy 30 and honor its heritage and this and that? And a few of you said yes, because it had restored so well, leave it as a Speedy 30. But that's not why I bought it. And I was worried I was going to regret it. I was worried I was not going to like it. I don't have those regrets. I'm glad I did it. And I'm actually wanting now to get another one and do it again. Anyway, so they're the positives about this bag. It's comfortable. It carries a lot. It carries all my hopes and dreams and other people's hopes and dreams in there too, because why not? The more the merrier. And I'm so, so happy. So now, are there any cons? Yes. So I am still at heart someone who likes the look of a structured bag. So like these ones here, I mean, maybe not this one so much, but all these other bags, they have their distinct shape. Like their shape is their shape. So for example, even like that Gucci one back here, that's not changing. There's no surprises with that particular bag. But with this, you have to make your peace with the fact that sometimes these things like, you know, cave in, and you've probably seen me already do this a couple of times where I try to like reposition it, you know, just to give it back its shape. So sometimes it does do this thing where depending on what's in here and the weight, it can draw it down, and instead of looking domed, it tends to look almost triangular in that way. So is that a problem? Yes, if you like the look of a structured bag, it can be. But I've come to love it. So it's sort of a con initially, but in the end, I just open up, I grab what I need. I don't look at this so much. You know what I mean? So there's that. Now, the other thing is this strap, next level, amazing, right? Like amazing. Let me show you. It's fantastic. It just sits there against the body. So you can do this. You can just hang around. You can just go shopping. You can walk. You could like do window shopping, go anywhere you like. And it just hangs there and it's great. You don't have to worry about being crossbody and adjusting it a certain way. If you want to do the whole over the shoulder thing like that, you can. You know, you can just hang it. And I've been doing this and I'm really into shoulder bags again lately. So that works out really well. The only problem is, again, if you love the structured look, you've got to make peace with the fact that it does look squished in. It just does. It looks squashed sometimes. So if you like a structured bag look, you've got to give that up. The other thing I've noticed is that sometimes I think I can get something easily out of it like this, but sometimes I can't. I have found myself, when I carry this to work lately on a daily basis, this is not my work bag because I'm a teacher, so I have a separate work bag for all my work stuff. This is just my handbag. So often I'm carrying two bags. So what I do is I put my actual work bag on my shoulder and then I just do this. So also fantastic, but it sort of gets a bit almost tacky. And because it's summer here, it can be. And like I'm currently sweating a lot at the moment, so I'm also conscious and careful not to get too much sweat on the vachetta itself. So sometimes when I'm carrying it like this, I think I can get something easily, but I find that I have to actually use both hands to look inside. Now, when you look inside, and for example, what I'm seeing now is my wallet stands out because it's red. But if you have other dark things, it's just dark. It's dark. So I find myself sort of moving around, trying by feel to find the thing that I want. So that can be a problem. If you're the type of person like me who just likes things to be quick, efficient, at my fingertips, I ain't got time to fluff around looking for things, that can work against you. Would you believe that in this whole month that I've been carrying it, I've just realized that I've got all my things hanging on the upside down side. Should have been having, I'm going to change it over after this weekend, after this video. So yeah, that's that. Now I think it's due for another clean. I'm noticing that the handles are starting to get just a little bit darker, which I'm okay with because I'm not using lotion on my hands. I'm not the type of person that uses hand moisturizer much anyway, but it's just holding, just, you know, use. And because I have a lot of rings on, there are times when I'm sort of putting my hand in and I can feel either my bracelets that like I'm sort of like nicking or just surface scratching the vaqueta. So I'm going to give it another sort of once over, another freshen up, and I think this bag would benefit from that regularly because it needs the moisture to keep it looking young and wrinkle free. Be good if I could do that. Okay, now this next, for lack of a better word, con is very much just a me issue. But I have found that a couple of times when I've been walking around, going to the shops or sometimes I wonder if I'm anywhere where there are boutiques and stores that have luxury goods. Someone who knows would know, you know what I mean? So part of me feels like, oh, I don't want people to think that I've bought a fake. But at the same time, I'm proud of what I did. But sometimes I think, oh, maybe I won't pop into LV because they're going to see what I've done. They're going to know that this is not a current Speedy 30 Soft. And so I sometimes have just a little bit of hesitation when it comes to that because I think, oh, if they know, would they know? It's one of those if you know, you know situations. And if you don't know, it's fine. But I work around a lot of people who own and buy luxury goods. And I sometimes wonder if they would know. So to sum up, would I do it again? Yes. Am I going to do it again? If I can find another one, either Eben or the Azure that is in a condition that I like, probably would do it again. I actually like the idea of doing it with the Speedy 25, to be honest, because I do love the Speedy 25 size too. So all in all, I'm happy with what I've done. I don't have any regrets. If you're willing to take on a challenge like this and do it, I recommend it. So do it. You know what? YOLO. Life is short. It's just a bag. If you don't want to spend $5,750 like what that costs here in Australia, then make a version of it. And in the end, look, shy of a few dollars, I ended up making for myself a Speedy 30 Soft for 10%. The bag was $570. And then by the time you add on all the little extras and my time and effort, I ended up like completing that for about $600. So it was about 10% of what the new one would cost in boutique here in Australia. And I just don't want to spend that on a bag. I'm finding that I don't want to spend that amount of money on bags anymore. Maybe on like a whole collection. Oh, no, not a whole collection, but a few bags, no problems. But just the one, I'm finding myself starting to hesitate about doing that. So please let me know what you think. How do you think it's come out? Would you do something like that? Was I crazy? Yeah, let me know what you think. Now this next portion of the video, I contemplated making a separate video about this, but then I thought, you know what, I'll just add it onto this. This is an update on this bag. So in one of my last videos, I shared with you that I had purchased 3 vintage Louis Vuitton bags, this one being one of them, but the individual seller on Facebook Marketplace had not shown this damage to me. And many of you commented, many of you, engaged in a conversation with me, and I agree with everybody. She was dishonest, but I was also stupid, simply because I should have known better. I should have gone with PayPal goods and services, or I should have arranged, I don't have an actual credit card, I should have arranged to pay differently, but I just unfortunately trusted. My previous 2 experiences of buying the other 2 vintage bags went well, that I just got caught up in the love of this, and unfortunately I was not completely scammed because it is an original bag, but I wasn't aware of the damage entirely. So that's upsetting. And the update is, as I explained in the last video, I had contacted my bank. My bank contacted her bank contacted her, and of course she refused, because if you're going to be the type of person that hides this damage and says to me, oh yes, I have a dust bag for you, and yes, it's in relatively good condition, well then she's not going to give me my money back, or even some of it. I wasn't even going to ask for the lot. I was just going to maybe negotiate with her for some, but that was not an option. So all in all, this is now mine. I will now work on restoring it. I'm going to invest in some leather cement. It is a crack. It's an actual tear that's sort of like opened in there. I don't want to pull it too much. This is also scraped very, very badly. And the brass is going to need a lot of work. This is going to require sanding back, because I know that with a lot of the real brass hardware bags, they used to put like a lacquer on top to keep it shiny, and then over time the lacquer wears unevenly, gets pitted and so on, and so usually what you're seeing is a lot of damage of that lacquered coating. So I'll be doing some sanding of that to try and deal with it. I will clean up the leather, I will clean up the inside, and yeah, should be fine. Now this is an original. It is a 65th anniversary legacy bag, but, and thank you Dawn for clarifying, this is the outlet version. I will put up on the screen the actual boutique version of this, which is almost exactly the same. The difference though is that they have the, like the boutique version has this legacy striped colorful lining inside, and then it also has like another metal charm, like a medallion as well, but the strap is all the same and everything else is the same on the bag. The back pocket, the stitching, the layout. Obviously though, because of the difference in the lining, and there are some with a pink lining and some with the blue, that would indicate that they're an outlet bag. So thanks Dawn for that, I didn't realize. Following videos after this showing how I work on this restore. You know, I may not completely get all these marks out, but I think that I'm going to be able to restore it well enough that I'll still at least be able to use it, and hopefully I just won't see this anymore. So lesson learned. You know, my grandfather always used to say to me, learn from other people's mistakes. So learn from my mistakes. I unfortunately trusted too readily, too easily. I should have gone through PayPal goods and services. I should not have transferred directly into her account, and my bank said that to me as well. And I kind of knew, but I also just thought the way we interacted, like even if I post here screenshots of our conversation, she seemed legitimate, you know. I'm just going to try and put that negative memory aside. I paid $200 for this bag, and part of me thinks I've been looking up this bag online on various platforms, and they're going for about $400 or $500 anyway. So in a way, as much as I paid $200, it's still not as high as some of the other prices that other sellers are asking for. Granted, some of them are as high as $600 and so on, but they're the boutique legacy bags. This is more the outlet one now. And it could be that maybe even the seller didn't realize that what these bags could be worth. And I think that's what I picked up on, because I have a feeling deep down that she may not necessarily know what they could be worth. She had marked it initially at $300. Then I told her my daughter had saved up for a bag, and like, yeah, I was going to give it to Talia, but I gave her the blue one, so I'm going to keep this one. So she said that I could have it for $200. So she, you know, apparently came down $100. I don't know if that's necessarily genuine. Maybe she was intending to have it priced high, then to negotiate, and maybe $200 was her price all the time anyway. So it was $200. Look, the way I see it is, for me, it's like an hour and a half of tutoring. It's fine. I will recover from that. It'll be all right. I will spend a fair bit of time now working on restoring it, and I know I'm going to come to love it very much. So I will try to look at the positive side of this and take it from there. And in regards to me feeling like I can't trust anymore, a lot of you have said, no, don't be like that. Don't sort of fall into this negative self-talk of not being able to trust and so on. Well, that's been my thing for a long time already. So this incident just sort of confirmed it a little bit more for me in my mind. You know what I mean? And I better stop there, because otherwise it's just going to end up becoming too much of a talky video. So let me know what you think of everything. I look forward to reading your comments as always. I love engaging with you. I am getting closer to 2,000 subscribers. I am just sitting currently now on 1,690, and that is incredibly exciting for me. Long story short, thank you very much, everybody. Actually, it's still long, isn't it? Long story long. Thank you, everybody, for your comments, your encouragement, and like I said before, I look forward to reading your comments. Take care, everybody. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Oh my God, I'm sweating my ass off. Oh, I hope you don't see my sweat moustache.